What was my reaction?
Yeah. What?
Did the show, money, and it came across as arrogant. Looking back now, say 12 of us, 11 got the job. I didn't.
Oh.
I know this, I'm going to get hate for this, but I still feel like that.
Right.
Because I think about every day. I want my own show in Vegas.
So when you got to Vegas, was it like Frankie was wide-eyed and dream come true time?
Not yet.
Right. And now 2 awards. Were you still having the imposter syndrome then? You still thought you shouldn't have been
I
sat
still
there?
do sometimes. So I ended up winning an award called Rising Star.
Fantastic. Let's talk about your other award, a very important award, the Tenerife Entertainment Awards 2019.
I didn't believe that I could sing, and I didn't believe I deserved a place on that stage.
Right. From that point, you were an entertainer in a hotel. How did you become the man that is Frankie Mack, Swinger Rat Pack Showman? How did that come about from there?
The truth or the family friendly?
I want to say the truth, but keep it from. Nah, tell us the truth, Frank. Tell us what you want. Tell us it however you want it to be told.
So,
think of this like audio book of your autobiography.
Right, I'll meet you halfway.
Okay, good.
Right, so
anything really bad, we can always edit later.
I worked in Majorca, and then I got another placement for Lanzarote.
Right.
So Lanzarote was just a winter season, and the winter season was meant to end at the end of January, February. I ended up going home on New Year's Day.
Okay.
And got home and I thought, what am I going to do now? So I knew like 10 songs because I ended up doing my first show in Lanzarote. Basically what happened was a comedian, I can never remember his name, a comedian cancelled. It was on a Tuesday. He cancelled in the morning and they'd asked, look, we need another act. And I just said, look, can I do a swing show? I know 10 songs, there's 45 minutes, can I do it? So I had my suit on, and they said, well, we need a poster. So I went through the back looking at all the posters, and there was one pristine that says, let's be frank. I thought, oh, that's mad.
That's fate, isn't it? A little bit, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I thought it was.
Serendipity, maybe?
I thought it was. So I spent the whole day just learning the songs. There was no really speaking in between.
Yeah.
I just learnt the songs, and I was hyped for it. And that was my first ever show, and I loved it. Watching back now, it's so cringy, but I absolutely loved it. And from then I thought, I want to do this, because you would see some acts, about the hotel, other hotels, never my hotels. We had top quality acts. He said,
added very quickly.
But when we go to other hotels, you've seen people, and I thought, if I could sing, I could do that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
There are often times where you're sitting there and you're going, not only I could do that, it's like I can be able to do that a bit better
if I could sing.
Yeah.
And but yeah, from there, and then I obviously went home back to Edinburgh, and I thought, what do I do now? So I actually applied for P&O Cruises.
Oh wow.
Carnival, went down to Southampton, and one of a lovely couple, Alison and John, that I met in Lanzarote, put me up for the night.
So a guest that you'd formerly entertained at a hotel putting you up while you were going for a job in the south.
I put up on Facebook.
Can anyone help?
Does anyone know any hotels?
Right.
Anyway, Alison popped up. Listen, stay with us. So we ended up having a cracking night. Went out for dinner, watched The Chase.
Exactly what you were hoping for. Alison, if you're watching, he is very grateful.
Thanks, Alison.
Yeah.
And John. Alison Homer, she's brilliant. And ended up going for the interview. I think there was about 12 of us, or 14 of us. Anyway, say 12 of us. 11 got the job. I didn't.
Oh, the 12th. So everybody got the job except you.
But we're all in this whole day thing. Team bout, and I thought the job was singing.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was to be a junior host, which was basically what I was doing before.
Oh, we see. Okay, so it wasn't to do with singing, but it was to do with introducing singers.
Because from that point of Lanzarote, I thought, I just want my own show. That's it. I just want Frankie Mack doing Swinging Rat Pack. That's it. That's what I want. So I went for this cruise job, and I thought, I've got this totally wrong. But I didn't get the job anyway. So I was really gutted.
Well, I would be gutted as well, especially a dozen people. Yeah. You're the 12th out of 12, and you're the only one who walks out there without a...
But now some of them watch my shows on a Sunday. on the Facebook, do you know, and they always comment, Jasmine, who's just done a walk for charity and stuff as well, they always kept in contact, and I don't know, I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And that's what that is. That's the only thing I kind of believe in.
So that's almost like, I suppose, disappointing in a way, but spurring you on to
100%, because then I went back to Edinburgh. I thought, what am I going to do now? I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to go back to Tesco. I've had a feeling what it's like.
Was it I'm destined for more than this? Like,
kind of.
it must.
But I know this. I'm going to get hate for this, but I still feel like that.
Right.
Because I think about every day. I want my own show in Vegas. I want,
I think anybody who's nobody could hate on you for having a dream.
Yeah.
And if they do, switch off. If you're watching this and you don't like what we're saying, switch it off.
Exactly.
It won't affect me in any way whatsoever, and it won't affect you. And it won't having. I don't know if you know this. I've known Frankie for a little while. And we keep meeting up in strange places, usually.
In strange places.
Well, in hotels where we randomly seem to be working, but not for the same people.
That's right.
Like never.
That's right.
We always just go, oh, hello, mate. And
That's
it's
right.
like, yeah. So, but from one, you've always had, certainly as long as I knew you, like big dreams, but not unobtainable. I wouldn't say having your own show is unobtainable because, and what I want to talk about next before we talk about your awards, yes, award-winning Frankie Mack is on the show, is your time in Vegas it was a tribute. Tell us about it. You went to Vegas. You've done an act in Vegas already.
So I went over to Las Vegas with Keith George, who does a fantastic Boy George tribute act over here.
On this island, of course.
Yeah.
Really,
Really good tribute act. And we were very close friends, and we went over, and we'd spent a little bit of time in Los Angeles, went to Vegas. He introduced me to some people in Vegas, and it was just an eye opener. Because from the moment I got on the island, I think one of the first questions was like, "What is it you want to do?" And I says, "I just want my own show in Vegas."
Yeah. So when you got to Vegas, was it like Frankie was wide-eyed and dream come true time?
Not yet.
Right, okay.
But I seen what was available.
Right.
I remember walking down that strip, looking at all the lights, and I'm thinking, this doesn't feel uncomfortable, this feels so right, just being here.
This feels natural.
So I done a Dean Martin tribute, and I done a Robbie tribute. I done
Right.
two things, and on that stage was unbelievable. I loved it. Nobody really knew Robbie. In fact, no one knew Robbie Williams over there.
Right.
No
okay.
one. So I done like Rock DJ, Angels, and it was not awkward, but it was kind of like, nobody knows this. So I had 2 shots at it. So on the second day, I done Robbie's swing album.
Right.
Done the swing stuff, and acted like Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
On the other day, I done swing stuff and acted like Dino. So I ended up winning an award called Rising Star.
Fantastic.
And
which of the 2 would you say nailed it for you in terms of the
Dino.
award? It was the Dean Martin.
Dino, because I've always said I would never do a tribute to anyone unless it was Dean Martin.
Right.
Because that's who I grew up with, Dean Martin, and my granddad, my dad. That's all they listened to.
Yeah.
One CD.
Yeah.
Drilled in my head every single day.
Talking of CDs, Frank does have a CD available, by the way.
Oh yes, on my website.
Yes, indeed. What's it called?
FrankieMackOfficial.com, and it's called Swinger's Choice.
Swinger's Choice. Oh yeah, that can have several meanings, but it's a great album as well. I was lucky enough to be given a free copy by Frank, so thanks for that. It is a great album as well. So if you want to buy it, FrankieMack.com. I love a plug as well. Okay, let's talk because you talked about the Rising Star Award in Vegas. Let's talk about your other award, a very important award, the Tenerife Entertainment Awards 2019. The last time we had it as a group of people, that you were allowed to have a group of people together.
That's right.
In the castle San Miguel, I believe.
San Miguel.
Tell us about it.
Just picking up for the story after the cruise, I got back to Edinburgh.
Right,
and I literally bought my own PA system. The next day, I didn't get the job. I didn't know what I was going to buy, didn't know about anything. Just bought some stuff.
Yeah.
Done a couple of gigs in Edinburgh, and I started to do the care homes. And absolutely loved it, and I thought I missed the sun, so I got a one-way flight here. I actually came over with my girlfriend at the time, and
but you bought a one-way ticket. You had
one-way ticket.
No intention of returning.
But there was literally, I think we had like 1,500 quid between us.
Oh my god!
It wasn't, but we just booked a one-way flight.
Yeah.
And we met people over here. I got in contact with a guy, Davey Salmon, who does Tom Jones over here. Mm-hmm. Linda, his wife, absolutely fantastic. They drove us around. It was on a Thursday, showed us a few places, and I thought, I love this place.
Yeah.
And we met this other couple, Fran and John, who got us an apartment. A lovely, lovely older couple. It's like my Tenerife mum now.
Yeah.
And she had said to me about this T Awards. I thought, what is it? She was like, oh, it's a award, but she says, you're only going to be here three and a half months before. She says, do it next year. But then I started to do shows, and she says, you could maybe be in with a chance with this. She was like, go for best newcomer.
Yeah.
Go for best.
Because technically, that's exactly what you were.
Exactly. And so I did my shows, and honestly, I just built up this little bit of momentum, and speaking to loads of people. Even when I came over here, I had one of my gigs was I had my very first gig at Sinatra's.
Okay.
In Sunset Bay.
Yeah.
But when I did in Calypso, I remember I did an hour, and I never knew anything about the hats that they do. They do the bucket, and you do a little bit extra. So I had an hour's worth of material. And then Sean, the owner from Calypso, says, we'll go put the bucket round and do more. I said, Sean, I've only got an hour's worth of material.
I've run out of songs.
So I done my whole show again. Right?
The encore was the show.
And but then I studied other people, how they spoke to people, because I'd never really spoken between songs. I just sang and acted like an over-exaggerated Robbie during songs.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, when you asked about the mask and whatever, I think when I first got here, I think I overdid the Showman, and it came across as arrogant. Looking back now, because I wasn't confident, I didn't believe that I could sing, and I didn't believe I deserved a place on that stage.
Right.
That's why I think it came across as that. Whereas now, I genuinely believe I do deserve a place on the stage, because I know I have an impact on some people. So right
but also, let's not beat you around the bush, Frank. You've worked bloody hard for it.
I genuinely have.
From the last 20, 30 minutes of conversation, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To get to what you've got, which is a great show as the Swing and Rat Pack Showman, and now 2 awards.
Yeah.
Because you did get nominated for the TAs that year.
I did get nominated. So what was I saying before that?
You were talking about you bought your PA, you come over here, one-way ticket. Within 3 months, Fran had said you probably could get the best newcomer. And
then it just kind of happened from there. So I got nominated. I always remember this. I was on my way to the gym, and it was on Oasis FM, and they were doing the nominees. And so
because it's sponsored by Oasis FM and Canary Weekly, isn't it?
That's right. So I parked up. I don't know if you'll know the road. I can't even think of it where it is. It's just up at the top, loads of palm trees, whatever. And I just parked the car, phoned my dad, and we listened to the radio together. So I turned the radio right up in the car, and honestly, I've never won anything in my life, ever. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, really wanted to get nominated for this. Even just a nomination would have been enough. So it was Brian Wilson came out first, Erin O'Connor, and then it said Mack, and I thought, but it was Del Mack. So I was going to turn anyway, and then see Frankie Mack, and I thought, right, we're in with a chance, right? So, and then that was it.
Your nomination.
On the day, sat at the table, and there's this video on Facebook. I was sat with the people from Calypso, Keith George and stuff, and they videoed me. And I was just sat there like, I'm not bothered. And I'm sat there like,
were you at that point? Were you at that point thinking, right? So if they don't call my name, do I clap politely or do I tip the table over? Or how did? Because you see it on the TV on awards things, right? And I always wanted to, because you can't ask, on these award things. What's going through your mind if you don't win? Are you going to storm off, or are you going to smile politely? Are you going to cry? Are you going to, do you even think about what's going to happen if they don't say your name?
Because the way I seen it was, and this isn't sugar-coated, this isn't anything, the way I seen it is, I still never believed in myself enough at that point.
Were you still having the imposter syndrome then? You still thought you shouldn't have been sat there?
I still do sometimes, but more so then. Until Vegas happened, then my mindset switched, but even at that point when I was sat looking at this board, I'm thinking, you've got Erin O'Connor, who's unbelievable. I've even done a show with her, and she's absolutely fantastic. She can sing anything. Del Mack, really funny, and Brian Wilson, who's a musician. Yeah. And I thought,
were you thinking, I've got no right to be here at all?
And I thought,
I'm a car salesman from Edinburgh. Why am I sat here?
And see my shows, genuinely, I have no idea what I'm going to do until it happens.
Right.
So when people ask me, what is it you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. I just go with what I see and what I feel, and I just try and make people smile, and that's my show.
That's it.
It's to leave people with a memory. That's it.
So when I wasn't at the TAs, but I'm just imagining when the envelope was. I'm imagining a big gold envelope. By the way, I'm sure it probably wasn't, but this is just. Let me have my moment. So when they called out your name,
what was my reaction?
Yeah. What? The microphones have just lit up the board. Don't worry. But so yes, of course, you were massively.
Yeah, I was so
excited.
happy. And I was on stage like this, and it was mad.
I can imagine the adrenaline's pumping at that point as well.
And one of the biggest things was, not the biggest things, but it was really, really nice. I walked off stage, and And the Soul Brothers came up to me and they says, look, I actually knew Thurston.
Okay.
And I never knew this.
Yeah.
When I was in Lanzarote, Kim, his fiance, was an ABBA tribute.
Right.
He flew over to meet her, and I'd met Thurston there.
Right.
When I came over here, I thought,
I
I've met him
recognise,
before.
yeah.
But the Soul Brothers came up and said, look, you deserved it because we've seen how much work you put in. And it was a really nice compliment coming from them as well.
Yeah. Did you have a speech prepared, or did you give a speech?
I can't even remember what I said.
It's one of those though that you must have said something
nothing
but you
prepared.
don't. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing prepared.
And but you don't remember what you said. Let's see if we can find a clip.
Absolutely not.
If there's a video that exists somewhere, I'm gonna have
Thank you so much.
Yeah, probably. I'd like to thank my mum and God. We are going to play our fantastic game that people have been waiting ages for. Every episode we do this. It's called 10 from Tenerife. Celebrity Crush. Go. Cameras.
AC12, you watch Line of Duty?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, how good's that?
Jesus, Mary and Joseph and the wee donkey. What were you doing last Wednesday? No comment. Right, okay, question number 1, and you were not allowed to say no comment.
Serendipity, I'm going to have to Google that word.
It's a great word. They call it...
That's what happens if you go to school in Scotland, you don't know any of these words. And everyone kept asking what's changed, and the only thing that changed was my mindset.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's giving something back to the people who have essentially kept everything going. Yeah.
D. Martin, Elvis and Robbie. I was born with a tooth.
Oh, that's weird. What's your favourite Spanish word?
And I've never sung with a band, so see to do even harmonies and sing with a band, I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm so out of my comfort zone here. And after My Way, at that note, everyone just stood up and started clapping. I turned to Tim and on stage, I went, wow. And I almost burst into
Yeah.
Jane.